Hello and welcome to the Gaia update for November 2015. I'm Adrienne Elise. Well, the main energy of November is really started off where on the 1st, Venus and Mars came together in their third conjunction. This is of this year, and Venus being the female and Mars being the male planet within ourselves. It's really asking us to examine the male and female archetypes within and coming to peace with the battle of the sexes. And what a beautiful message around that at 22 degrees Virgo is where this happened at the 1st of November. And but they stay very close for that whole first week of November. And it's really bringing us to the foreground of what it is that needs to change in our reality to be able to build this new world. Now, this is a very powerful shifting point because we've got a new moon in Scorpio on the 11th, 11/11. Now, it's really a new look at the old shadow is this Scorpio new moon. Very powerful energy. Venus and Mars coming together, you know, and we've had the North Node was in Libra. It's moving into Virgo this month, so we're having a huge shift there. And Virgo is about discrimination. And so we have male and female parts of ourselves here in the sign of discrimination, the sign of cleaning it up, the sign of getting organized, the sign of doing it right. And so we are examining this, and neither Mars or Venus feel completely comfortable in Libra. It's kind of a contracting energy, and Mars, of course, wants to just run and fight and move forward, and Venus wants to love. And so they're both, but it's talking to us about how we're moving forward right now. So much of the way we're moving forward is through discrimination. Now, this is pointing back to the major event of this month too, of Saturn squaring Neptune. Saturn being reality check, and Neptune being dreams and visions and illusions. And so everything here is coming together about this whole 2012 astrology. It's just like we're in this huge cycle. For 2.5 years or 3 years, close to 3 years, Saturn has been in Scorpio. And so now that Saturn, the other thing that happens is that Saturn returns to its pre-retrograde position at 4 degrees of Sagittarius. So it's moving into new territory. We are moving into new territory. Now, it's very different to have Saturn, the work duty, like what you need to do to bring it into reality, planet in the sign of the shadow, the sign of the subconscious self of Scorpio, and then moving into Sagittarius, which is spiritual seeking and teaching and learning and expanding. And so this is a big shift because the reality of what we want to create in this new world that we're being called to, basically we've had so much consciousness shift on the planet, and but we're not yet seeing it in the outside world. We're not yet seeing this breakdown of structures that has everything to do with the Pluto-Uranus square. Now, Venus and Mars have just, when they've been in Libra, so very much triggering that square energy between those two planets. And Venus and Mars, this is the battle of the sexes, the duality within, the discrimination in our personal relationships with all this Libra energy. Last month with the Libra new moon and Venus and Mars triggering this. Now, they're moving into Libra now. They were in Virgo, and so now that they're moving into Libra, it's going to be quite a shift of energy this month. So there's so much happening that's moving us out of this deep examination of the shadow side of ourselves. And it's kind of neat because in a way, if you've done that, if you've been called to be a part of that, just like stuff coming up, and of course that Venus Mars is and the Libra energy, it's in relationships with the North Node in Libra. It's been about relationships showing us the way. Now the North Node's moving into Virgo. And so Virgo, that's the North Node is where we're heading, the future karma. It's very much about collective energy. So now we're learning through discrimination. So the Venus and Mars conjunction in Virgo at 22 degrees, both of them direct, is like we're moving forward in a new direction in relationships. It's relationships that have brought us to this next step, because it's relationships that bring out our shadow and bring forward the karma that we have been asked to clear over this very powerful time of Saturn and Scorpio. So Saturn had that retrograde and is now just come out of this month coming out of that shadow. So we're moving into new territory, but squaring up against the ruler of Pisces, representing Neptune in Pisces, at home in Pisces. So this is really representing the Piscean age, where we're coming from, the past. And that's also really powerfully triggered by Jupiter opposing Chiron in Pisces as well. And so with Neptune and Neptune and Saturn squaring up, we've got just this like reality planet of build it, do it, like make it real, and then illusions and dreams. And then the past. So we're really being asked to wake up to what we really, with that Venus retrograde in Leo, it has so much to do with what we really want and what we thought we were maybe here to do. A lot of this might be around career for people, with Saturn kind of triggering this energy of expanding out into new horizons and a desire for a career that better supports and can express your gifts in this world. This is a lot of what's going on. So it's waking up to what you thought you wanted might not be what you actually want. And it's also, so we're breaking down illusions. We're getting real about it. We're getting real about the past and about how we can no longer continue with the destructive patterns between the archetypes of the male and the female. And so everything right now in astrology points to a whole new way forward. And it's just like we're having this beautiful culmination of energies about what this 2015 has all been about. And so use this last part of the year to really bring together these threads. We're really starting to understand this North Node moving into Virgo, activating Mercury is the messenger, is the ruler of Virgo. It's very analytical. We want to understand and face these illusions and face the truth and figure out what it is we really want. And Saturn squaring up to Neptune, Saturn Sagittarius squaring up to Neptune, is saying, quit dreaming, get your head out of the clouds, let's work for this. Now, that's a lot of the energy we're moving into in the mutable cross that's starting to happen this month, and then into 2016. And the mutable signs are really about the cardinal signs. We've been in the cardinal cross for the last few years, a lot of that with that Pluto-Uranus square. And now the mutable signs. And so this is about, okay, now we got to go to the next step. We got to really start building. We've done the visioning, we've done the dreaming, but how do we make it real? How do we get our world to adjust to the changes that have happened within? And it's actually going to be quite an exciting time with lots of changes on the planet in the next 2 years. And we're feeling this initiation right now. It's like the Pluto-Uranus square, they come back not into an exact square, but they revisit that square with Neptune, with a direct motion of Pluto now. And so we are, when these planets separate out of that exact square that happened over 2.5 years, 3 years, that's when the changes are going to start to really be seen. And so right now it's about getting out of the illusion of what we thought we wanted, getting out of the illusion of the abusive relationship, getting out of the illusion of the job that isn't supporting the truth of who we really are, and making these changes and getting real about it. So that can be pretty sobering, but there's also just such beautiful supportive energies. The Scorpio New Moon on the 11th is just a beautiful time to like I said, take a new look at the old shadow and see all the work that you've done and pat yourself on the back and understand that how huge it is to be able to be comfortable in treading that territory and to being vulnerable and like all the difficult things that have happened over the last 3 or 4 years or lifetimes. It's like, it's worth it because you can feel like the Virgo energy is this like Venus and Mars coming together, and it's like cleaning up the act and feeling pure in the reality of who we are, releasing the stories that the Piscean age was all about when we had conformity as the main thing. We had domination and control through religious and other political organizations, and that served to bring the human into a less than state, a feeling of needing to somehow sacrifice or repent to be worthy of existing on this planet, in a core energy around the Piscean age. And so we're really waking up to that identity and saying, we can learn to treat ourselves with the respect, clean up. There's nothing dirty that can't be cleaned, and we're just washing our psyche and finding the truth that we are. Science has proven it to be true, that we are a part of everything. Everything is inside of us. And in that case, the source energy, the purity, the original innocence of the cosmic intelligence is accessible within us. And so when we start to identify with that, and that comes to the Uranus and Aries energy, it's just like we're having an identity crisis. And so when your shit starts falling apart and your world starts falling apart, that's a good thing, because we are figuring out who we really are. And who we really are is amazingly powerful cosmic expressions of cosmic intelligence. And so there's a few things there with this coming out of the illusions. We're waking up to who we really are, but then there's this kind of weird thing around that means that that ultimately you're not in control of you need to let go to the higher part of you, to the bigger part of the cosmic intelligence and the way it wants to work through you, instead of living life, letting life live you. And so this is the opportunity of this time. Huge opportunities. There's such amazing upgrades, downloads, information coming, solar flares, energy speaking to us, changing our bodies, changing our field. And so the world is going to have to change to go along with these updates. And so it's really important to take care of your body, get lots of rest. It can be a really tiring time to transform in such a quick way, but that's what's happening. And so use the rest of this year to really ground out, get the messages, get the clarity, get out of your own way, and accept yourself in the purity of your original essence, and heal the need for duality in your life, the need for an enemy or a struggle. And this is the powerful energy of 2015, preparing the way to build this new reality. And it's like people are just kind of getting picked up, like Mama Cat is coming along and just kind of picking up the kitten by the scruff of their neck and dropping them off over in a very much better, appropriate situation. But along the way, it's a little bit scary to lose everything that you thought was what you were and what defined you. But this is the dynamic power of this time, when you can let go and release, surrender into the process. Let life live you and get out of the way. Then it can be quite a ride. Be the observer that is watching with interest this play in your life and listening and responding, but not necessarily trying to control, because that's a big message that's been coming through for a lot of people right now. It's just you don't get to know exactly the way it is and what exactly you're doing in the big major plan. It's like security protocol. And so you of all people need to be kept in the dark about what's really going on. And so things can just feel really confusing. It's hard not to know exactly, the way we've lived up until this point. It's like, well, this is my plan, and I have a 10-year plan, and a 5-year plan, and I'm going to do this and this and this. And it's like, that is not the way things are rolling right now if you're on the ascension path. And so it's time to surrender, get out of the way. And there's just great supportive energies for this, with Jupiter opposing Chiron, releasing that pain of the past, reevaluating Chiron as an energy. Chiron is the wounded healer, but it's completely changing its identity. And this Jupiter opposition is very indicative of that. Jupiter, this expansive planet of luck and power and energy and expansion, that is saying we're breaking the chains. We're coming out of the dungeon and setting ourselves free from this false identity that we've been led to believe we bought into. And when we come into the true identity of who we are, then the energies start supporting and coming in to lift you up and hold you in this expression of the divine in your life as you open up to this new way, this new energy. It's very powerful, whereas in the past we had to work really hard to access this level of support and vibration and frequency, and now it's like pushing us. And so that's the part that feels a little disconcerting, and especially when the illusions are breaking down and Saturn square Neptune and the truth is coming out, and that's happening on a big scale. And we're going to see some massive changes in our structures of government, energy, and money systems in the next couple of years. And so our lives have to change like that too. It's like, it's no longer about the paper and the money and the right job. It's about the right job. It's about doing what you're really here to do, expressing the truth of who you are in your individual way, but with that cosmic intelligence allowing that to work through you. So I wish you the best on your journey. Enjoy the contemplative months ahead as we complete this amazing year of 2015, amazing year of most powerful shifting I've ever seen. And so namaste.